Well, hey there, American Farmsteaders. This is Jenny with the Gramstead Family Farm.
And Donna with Hazel Bell Farm.
And we are coming to y'all from Northeast Florida as two American farmsteaders doing our best to grow our own food and share our homesteading experiences with you in hopes that you would grow a little food of your own.
Yeah, this week we are talking with Charles with CBBees, big time beekeeper. You're a commercial beekeeper, right?
Yes.
Yes. Here in Florida. Tell us who you are, what you do, and then we'll backtrack a little bit and ask you how you got started.
That's great. We run about 3,000 hives out of Lake Placid, Florida, and centrally located in Florida, and we pollinate crops and produce honey, that good local honey for everybody. And we also travel to different parts of the country pollinating crops and making honey during the different parts of the year for seasons, like Southwest Michigan, South Indiana, Illinois, California for almonds. So we stay pretty busy.
That's cool.
That is crazy. So you're all over the place. And you said 3,000 hives?
Yes.
Is that just in Florida or is that everywhere combined?
That's right now, everything's in Florida because we didn't go to California this year due to weather and other issues that, but they're all in Florida right now. We're making up hives. That's what we're doing right now also, is making up more hives because we constantly have losses.
Mm-hmm.
So we're always it's like one of the businesses you have to constantly remake every year.
Yes. I used to keep a few hives, a handful of hives, and it would break my heart. I tell people all the time, like it is the most rewarding but most heartbreaking hobby ever.
It's the love-hate relationship. It really is. You
Yeah.
know, but at a time like now when the orange is starting to bloom and the oaks and the willow happened and you see the hives just thriving, it's so rewarding. But then you get in dearth periods and hunger times, and you just see them hurting, and the viruses, and the longer the season goes on, you can see them struggle.
Yeah.
And it's just heartbreaking.
So you're in orange groves here in Florida. Is that primarily what you use them to pollinate?
In Florida, you don't need bees to pollinate the orange trees. They're self-pollinating, but they help set fruit. It's like you don't need them for bell peppers, but the farmers will request or lease them from us to set the first fruits better.
Okay.
So there's some fruits and vegetables you don't need bees, but the farmers know that when they have the bees out there, that they can produce better first and have less calls.
Okay.
Interesting. So in Florida, we basically do a lot of things. We do honey production through orange, palmetto, and in the fall we do the Brazilian pepper, the water myrtle, and things like that. Ooh. But then we also do squash, cantaloupe, eggplant peppers, watermelons, and then we travel up north and do like cherries, apples, blueberries, squash, watermelons, cantaloupe.
Wow.
Nice.
How long have you been doing this?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's all one big blur.
Right.
It comes down to it really is. It's been such a journey. I never knew a beehive. I took my son. I might have bought my first hive back in 2012. I bought 100 hives out of California.
Okay.
But before that, I was catching them, and I got encouraged by somebody my son actually. I took him on a field trip because we homeschooled. So he wanted to do a book report on honeybees. So I found a local guy, and I was scared to death. I thought I was die if I get stung. I didn't want to roll down the window, and I just got more intrigued with them and started catching them and catching wild ones, those nice African wild hives that like to sting you. And that's just how it started.
That's awesome.
Got a passion over it. Just started making more hives.
Those kids will do it for you, won't they?
Yeah, homeschooling kind of took me on a different route of a lot of things in life.
Yeah.
Probably would not have been involved with sending them to the public schools, because you're so much more hands-on and interactive, and you have to come up and create. So it kind of took you a lot of different paths. And then being in Central Florida with all the agriculture, we were able to meet a lot of ranchers and different growers. So we did a lot of field trips there. So we learned a new world instead of being from the suburbs of Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I mean, because you have the freedom to do that. And yeah, the kids will do. We got started in the exact same way, with a 4-H group, and one of our boys, our oldest son, said, I want to learn about bees. And we were like, same kind of thing. Don't really want to, but okay.
Right.
My dad had kept them years ago in the past. So we kind of went and raided his garage and got all of his equipment, got started with 4-H. And before you knew it, we had a bunch of I say a bunch, not 3,000. I think we grew, the most we had at a time was 10. And then we ended up, we had a really bad loss, a really bad winter, maybe like 7 years ago, when Florida lost like half of its hives kind of winter. And then we ended up moving, and we just never picked it up again because like I felt like we couldn't dedicate the time to it that it needed at that point. So
it's a lot of dedication. It really is. But again, it's like you're doing it when you're growing your own food, anything. Like we were coming down here a new life, and we were taught how to grow food. A man I rented a home for taught us how to put in a 20 by 80 garden and the water systems, and how to keep mulching the ground so we don't grow on sand and we don't need all this fertilizer and all these things. But you learn a lot about yourself. You learn about life.
Sure. For
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, that's cool.
You really do. When you're depending on eating that food.
Yeah. So one of the things that bees taught us was, I mean, the way they construct the comb, and watching the social behavior and all of that. I mean, they are the most amazing creatures I think we have on this planet.
But see, you did it so you can understand it, and that's what I think what caught my attention more was actually to see, like, one of the biggest lessons I've learned is, like, even when I was in construction or anything in life, we try to push people. We try to push them, and we think that we could drive them in a way that they can succeed. But the thing is, we're all different, and like the bees really taught you that the way they are, you can't push them. You could only be there to help and guide, but they're going to do what they're going to do at their times of the seasons. And it really taught me, like, I can feed them all I want in December, but they ain't going to grow. They stop laying because it's until winter solstice hits, and then they'll start expanding, and the queen will start laying again, and the bees will grow. But you can't feed them as much pollen, or you can't feed them as much syrup. You can't do anything, and you learn to live with them instead of trying to reign over them. You learn that with people. We can't reign over people, but we can guide and we can encourage. But you can't make them do anything more than they can.
Such a life lesson.
It really is.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah,
I
the
love
bees
that.
really, you see the social network of how they do and how they come out. When they're first born, the first job they do is clean the room. They clean that cell out. The simple things in life we don't, you look at society today, what are people teaching their kids the simple things? Just clean your room, make your bed. First thing you do, make your bed.
Right.
You accomplish something today. No matter how bad the day is, your bed is made when you come
Your bed is made. That's right. That's right.
So, like, there's the simple things that we can learn from them.
Yeah, pretty cool. So keeping the homesteader in mind, or the backyard, we have a lot of listeners who kind of are interested in growing food, or just starting to grow food, or they grow on a smaller scale. They're not looking to keep a commercial beekeeping business, but maybe they have a couple of raised garden beds in their suburban backyard, and the idea of a hive or two is appealing. What would you recommend somebody like that do to get started?
Honestly, it's exactly how I started. I didn't plan on being like this. I really didn't. It wasn't a goal.
None of us planned on being like this. Okay.
Wow, I want to go to have all these bees and travel. It was never a thought process. I started, like I said, I started growing my own food. That's how I was feeding my family.
Right.
Construction business went south in 2008. And what do? We couldn't do it. The markets all crashed. So we were living on fixed incomes, and we started to learn. We came down to Florida. We started to learn from a man who teaches how to grow our own food. And then I started messing with bees. So we were growing our own food, and I had a few hives I was catching. And but I started to work with local guys that knew what they were doing. I found guys that were holding 300, 200, 100 hives. And I would just go out and I would find days that they were working. Can I come out and help? Can I learn about them or see how you do it? Learn about the hives, learn about the activities, how to feed. What are you looking for food and nutrition for the bees? You don't have any clue. So the biggest thing I could ever suggest is before you even go out buying a hive, because as you know, it's expensive and it is heartbreaking if you spend this money and time with them and they don't excel and they swarm or they die. But so to actually go out, find your local, and you can go on the Florida State website and you can find your local beekeepers. They're all on there.
Yeah.
All the registered beekeepers are on there. So you can go to your area. You can look it up. The phone numbers are on there and everything. All our numbers are on there. And you can just make calls. And people would love to have you out for a day pulling honey or just going through a yard to just show you what to do, how to, it's just going in there, grabbing a frame, work from the outside, pull one out, make some room so you're not rolling queens and stuff. Just simple things that you wouldn't think about. But to actually go out, it's like I told people, it's like college education. You're going to pay somebody to learn. Well, pay with your time. Just go invest your time with somebody. Donate a day a week, a day a month, just to learn. That way, you know what you're getting yourself into.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, having a good mentor is so valuable.
Yes. Like I said, you don't know if you never had something. It's like having a dog and you train it wrong. What's it going to do? It's going to pee on the floor. It's going to do all these things, and you don't want that. I don't want to get stung. I don't want my neighbors to get stung. But if you're keeping these bees in your yard, where should you place them? What are you doing? What if it's a dearth time and they're hungry, they're aggressive? They're going to be in your neighbor's pool. They're going to be in their water. Are you putting water out for them? Or these little things that you wouldn't think about. But they're going to be bothering your neighbors if you're on a 5-acre land or anything. They're going to be next door. So how do you take care of that situation so you're not? It's like having a pet tiger. You wouldn't let it run loose in the yard. You have bees that sting. People are allergic to them. But how are you going to maintain this? Not just for yourself, but for the people around you.
Yeah. That is a problem that we didn't foresee. Is that we didn't have many neighbors, but we did have a neighbor who called us and said, "Hey, your bees won't get out of our water fountain." They had like a decorative fountain right by their front door. It's like, I'm so sorry. I don't know what to do.
Or if your neighbor has a swimming pool, they love that chlorinated water.
Yeah. Yeah. What is it about the chlorinated water that attracts the honeybee?
Do you know? I have no idea.
That's bizarre. We had that problem too. Yeah, we had to keep fishing them out so the kids could swim.
That chlorinated water, they're in that pool. I don't have no idea. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I'm the type of person that goes out, and I didn't read many books. I did some YouTube University when I first started messing around.
Cool.
But once you start getting into it, the best advice I can get is to go out to the bee yard and watch them. Go out there on a cloudy day. How do they act to the smoke? How are they reacting to things? You can go into a hive now. You'll learn. You can smell. You can hear. You can see how they're reacting and how they're moving, and that's what you're really looking at. Because it's all different wherever you are in the United States or in the world. How the bees are going to act in different times of the season. So you have to be more apt to, once you learn your basics, it's just to be in the bee yard and watch, observe, smell. You can see, you can smell when they're thriving and then doing well. You can hear them when they're happy. You can see how they're moving and sitting on the comb, and if they're not agitated or if they got mite problems. You can go all by your senses more than what's the book gonna do me if I don't.
Right.
I really can't put that into work.
Yeah.
It doesn't play out. It's kind of like you ever see people that have a Bible under their pillow, but they never read it. Well, it doesn't work that way.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we always say you can't teach experience. You just have to go and live it and do it and put your hands on something and learn.
Well, watching, all the YouTube videos and reading all the books, that's all great, but it's nothing like being there and doing it and seeing it. And like you said, using all your senses to experience what's actually happening. So I tell people all the time, just plant a row of green beans. Just do it. I mean, if you've never done it before, just do it. That's the best way that you're going to learn.
And failing at it.
Right, failing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And, the green beans are great because they're really hardy, but you get to keep picking them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
Keep going. Keep going.
Just keep picking them. They'll keep coming.
Yeah, that's true. So,
Charles,
it's
really something that's special. Is like I said, the first advice is go out and work bees with somebody who's got knowledge.
Right.
You donate your time because you're not giving up anything more than you wanting to learn and getting a feel for it. Like I said, then to get a hive of your own, start with the nucleus hive. To watch it grow and expand. And then from there, you actually just have to really feel after it. The senses that we were all given. Just feel after it. See it, smell it, go ask more questions, keep donating that time to have a mentor and go help and see how this really how it happens in different situations at times of the years. What are you doing in the summer is not the same thing you're doing in the spring. When it's wet seasons and you got the small hive beetles and all these things and they like to multiply more. How do you take care of those small hive beetles? And you don't want to use poisons all the time in your hives, and they have enough struggles. So what are natural ways to do that? That you can home remedy type things with cloths that will catch the beetles, the barbs on their legs, things like that. You want to get this kind of knowledge from people that are doing it on these mass scales because, we have to keep it under control. So how can I use this at my home?
Must be doing something right.
Yeah, you got to be doing. That's what I said. You got to be doing something. You got all these bees. Let me see. You're going to go to a car salesman that has 2 cars. You got a bunch. You're selling a bunch of cars. That's where I want to go.
Right.
I'm selling these things.
That's funny. So you mentioned a couple of times catching bees. What would be some practical tips for somebody who wants to get started, but they don't want to order a package of bees? They want to catch bees. How do you catch bees?
Patience first.
You are full of the life skills, man.
Patience, because if you try to hurry it, you're going to be discouraged. You have to be knowing that it could take up to 21 days. Because depending on if you're putting a wired comb that you would make out of like a wire screening, and you make a cone to put over the hole of a building or a brick wall or anything, or depending on if you're going in a floorboard, that could be an easy fix because you can find the queen right away. You put her in the box, the other bees will go right to that hive then, But then you have to remove all those other, the brood that would hatch. But if you're catching it in a wall, that is like a block wall, and you're using a cone, it could take up to 21 days to get all those bees out of there between the time you get the queen to follow out and then the bees that hatch come out. So it takes patience and not to hurry things.
Wow.
So, there's many ways to catch them, and, swarms if it's in a tree compared to something that's in a building or a tire.
What about attracting a swarm?
You know what? That's something I never had to have a problem with because they just seemed like when I started, they're everywhere. There's bees in everybody's house, everybody's trailer. Once you start, you get a phone call like every week. Can you get? I heard you do these bee removals. Can you get this? Can you get that? And that's another way actually catching and removing bees from walls, or you actually learn a lot more of their nature. So that was a really bonus of starting that way too. Is to go out there and let people know that you want to catch bees. You want to get them out of their walls or their tires or their trees. And then you learn patience for them and you learn their actions a little bit more.
Wow.
I don't know if I'm quite that brave to go try catching bees.
Yeah, well, I'm considering. So here's where my brain is right now. So we have a neighbor behind it. Everybody here is on like at least 20-acre tracts. Like we're on 20 and we're the small guys. Everybody around us has 40 acres, 80 acres, something like that. So there's a neighbor through the woods who keeps bees. And I know that they have swarm issues. So I'm thinking I could set up a trap on the back of my property and attract one when they have a swarm, right?
Do you honestly want to know what happens? We do it all the time. If you just stacked a couple boxes there,
and
they just get a swarm.
They just showed up. Okay.
Yeah, with the comb. If you have comb in a box and they're sitting there, they're going to find that comb.
Okay. So just set it up and see what happens.
Yeah, because I'll be going through equipment right now, and we got all the equipment stacked, trying to make honey or to getting things prepared. And if you don't have a veil on, you start going through stuff, you're gonna find a swarm.
Oh,
You know, in the fall, I had to unload a semi of equipment, and I didn't get to it all to put it out, and to come back to pick it up, I made like 30 hives out of it.
Wow.
Just sitting, because the equipment was sitting out where people were bees around.
So they smell it.
They smell it. They'll go into that. So if he has issues with swarms, and if you just put a couple boxes out there with foam in it,
I don't know if they listen to our podcast or not. Sorry if I catch your bees.
Save the bees, right? Just
saving the bees. That's right.
Correct.
Oh, that's funny.
That's fascinating to me that just setting the box out there, they would just find it.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty amazing that I'm surprised all the time with how many bees we get in equipment that's just sitting there waiting to go on other bees and stuff as honey supers or deep bodies. You'll get a surprise every now and then.
So we
open up something.
We have a black bear issue here. So like those same neighbors, they have their beehives set up like with, I think, a chain link fence around them and then hot wire around that. So other than bears, what other issues predator wise do you see? I mean, you're all over the country, so you may have different things.
Well, the worst, actually, it's a relief when we leave Florida. Mm-hmm. Florida is like a stress all the time between the bears. The bears are all through, like in the Lake Placid down to Immokalee, Naples, all that. The bears they're ferocious. They'll dig underneath the fences. They'll go over the fences on trees and drop in on top. I mean, they can really do damage quick.
Wow.
So really, the only thing that really can get into there would be the raccoons in Michigan. Raccoons, even in Florida, if you have nucleus boxes, they'll go in those, start taking stuff apart.
Really?
Oh yeah. So raccoons, hogs don't really matter much, but the bears are basically what's the biggest thing to the.
That's the big one. Okay.
And human beings are pretty bad with them sometimes. Theft and a lot of young people seem to think that they're target practice sometimes.
Oh, that's terrible.
So you'll see, buckshot or something or birdshot, just things. It's always good to keep your beehives more away from plain view. Just because of theft and vandalism.
I'd read once, and this wasn't an issue that I ever saw. I have no experience with it, but I had read once that a skunk is the number one issue with honeybee hives for commercial keepers. And I thought, I know we have skunks here, but I've never seen an issue. We've never come across one at any of our homes.
No.
So.
No, I've seen them like little babies come out of the palace when we pick them up and stuff, to move them. But I've never had an issue that the skunks bothering the bees. But it's just mostly in Florida bears.
The bears, okay.
The bears,
and then things like small hive beetle and varroa mite and that kind of thing.
Well, yeah, that's the common, but I said for predators out there in the wild that we can try to. The varroa mites we try to keep with treatments, and the small hive beetles you try to keep the bee yards clean of any dead equipment. You don't want that around. You don't want to be sitting in like wet, moist areas or to let the grass grow around your hives so much. You want to have that airflow and let the bees be able to work. But for predators like in the wild, it's mostly bears. The bears really do a number. They can tear apart 100 hives in a matter of a couple of days. Wow. And the thing is, and mostly the bears don't get it. It's not the honey they're after.
Right. Did you know that? Is it the larva? Is that
correct?
Right?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. It's the larva they're after. That's horrible.
Yeah. So even when it's a brooding season and you really have the bees thriving, that's when they come, because they can smell all that larva, that protein in those hives, and they'll go after it.
Winnie the Pooh lied to us.
Right. That's exactly what I was just thinking.
I saw that everybody else says, well, we got lied to. Well, there's a lot of things we got lied to about us too.
That's funny. Yeah. It would have made for a different cartoon.
Right. So when you travel to Maine, that was like it's a lot of granite ground. And so you're up there and it's coming right out of hibernation season.
Mm-hmm.
So you're driving your T-post for your bear fences, and all it does is ringing a bell. I used to tell my son, all we're doing is ringing the dinner bell. These things are they just terrorize the bees up there.
So tell me, what does like a normal day look like for you keeping 3,000 hives? Like, what are you doing all day?
That's why I think everybody asks, where you at all day?
I guess that's why they said you need an air tag.
Yeah, I just, it's basically just keeping track of where the yards are. And, it's just every day starts at 4 a.m. Every day when you wake up, I maintain good physical, working out, stretching, doing all that stuff, breath work, keeping your mind and your mind, everything going. And it's just really, I keep everything in zones from like Highlands County all the way to Collier County. So everything blooms at different times. So I know these sections of the zones, I call them, the bees are growing and doing different things. So I know how I'm making splits, or I have to treat these bees. And so it's just basically just staying busy. That's really what it is. Just staying busy, making sure you're keeping
life of a small farmer, right?
Yeah.
You're not such a small farmer. You're pretty big scale there.
No, not small.
I don't know.
So how much honey are y'all producing with that many hives? Like,
it all depends. That's the key. Is like, we've had the drought the last few years in Florida.
Right.
The citrus has been struggling because of the drought and the greening and the psyllids. And as we all know, we see the citrus industry going bad. Hurricanes that we've been getting have been hitting the fall crops. The love bugs on the palmetto. So it all depends, really. Up north this past season was kind of low because of all the smoke and the fires coming out of Canada. So, it all depends. It all depends on what you're at, what you're doing. There was the drought kind of in southern Indiana. We didn't make much honey. This year is looking real good for the orange. Finally, after so many years, we can smell the citrus in the air in the mornings, and
nice.
The trees look like it's going to snow. So
I bet that's
we're all very excited about the orange blossom crop this year.
That's
cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
So it all depends. It really does. It depends on really what's going on in nature right now. And we've had it tough in Florida for the last few years. Everybody knows that. Between the drought.
Yeah, like what do you do during hurricane season? Like,
how do you prep your hives for that?
I mean, I know how crazy I am just on like my little 10-acre farm when there's a hurricane coming. Like, I can't imagine having all those hives out everywhere.
Well, do you remember when in the beginning, you said the most amazing creatures, most amazing that you've ever seen, correct?
Right. Yeah.
My first severe hurricane was Irma.
Yeah.
And we had everything on the East Coast. So we're like, oh, the storm was coming. It was supposed to come up the East Coast through Miami and all that. So we're like, let's take everything to the West Coast.
Right.
And what happened is it turned.
Right. Irma didn't follow our plans.
And then all of a sudden, I put the last load down. We checked the weather. We'll see anything. Well, it changed direction. And we're like, what are we gonna do? We're 10 foot above sea level. And the storm surge was coming, and we just said, well, what are we gonna do? We move them again. We moved like 700 hives.
Oh gosh.
We can't move them now. And then what I learned is they are that amazing, where they have the propolis is like super glue.
Right.
And it's really nice because going up north, we really get a heavy propolis. When the bees go up north, they really have it on the boxes and the frames. So when we came, we had them stacked probably about 6 foot tall, waiting for that pepper flow, that fall crop. We'd come back after that storm, driving bobcats in there because of the floods. Everything was flooded out. We saw trailers thrown, the big culvert, 4 foot diameter culverts thrown like pixie sticks in these farms and ranches. And the beehives stood there.
Wow.
Nothing happened to them. They were
because
standing like towers. Yeah.
That's
maybe
crazy.
A few lids here and there, and that was it. I was so amazed. So people are putting bricks. They do all this And because I used to move my bees, I put screens on the entrances. As we start, we're so worried that, we don't want to lose one bee while moving them, or we don't want the storms. But the bees are so much more resilient than we could ever imagine. That's what I learned through Irma. It was amazing. The way that propolis just turns like super glue, and you won't lose it.
Explain to our listeners, what exactly is propolis?
It's like a sap from the trees. And it's actually good for, like, we started collecting it this last year more, and we sell for exotic birds, and it's a medicine, an antibiotic. And also with this year, we're going to do a lot more in Michigan, and then we'll be able to I want to grind it and put in pills for human consumption.
Nice.
It's good for burns, all this. So it's an antibiotic. It's very healthy for inflammatories and stuff like that. So it's very good.
Cool.
So it's really amazing what the bees can do. So the resilience, except like in Ian, when we just got flooded, that was not good. They got washed away. That was different.
Right.
You can't.
Right.
There was water like we've never seen before here in Florida.
Right. Yeah.
So
they can handle the wind and the rain, but not so much the flood.
Correct. No, we lost. You talked to the USDA. Well, do you have proof your bees are here? No, they're gone.
Oh, gosh.
Go look in the Gulf somewhere. I don't know where they are.
Right.
Peace River was flooded with a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that is heartbreaking.
So you can't, and I said, that too, just when you're growing your own food, what happens, hail or these storms come, especially when we're all planting, we start planting September to get our vegetables in the ground, the hurricane comes and what happens?
Right.
It's that all agriculture. It's got its highs and its lows.
You can't plan for everything.
No.
That's why we have that saying, we'll get it next year, right?
We'll get it next year. It's always next year. That's right. I think that should be like the official farm motto.
Right.
We'll get it next year. And then you plan for this, and it's something completely different. And that's what's so amazing about agriculture.
Yeah.
Is that it keeps you thinking. It's not a stagnant thing. It's always growing. It's fluid.
It's true.
You think you've got it figured out, and then it's like, wait, now it's this, and now you have to be thinking on your toes to react to it.
Yeah.
It keeps you young in the mind, I guess. Or
no two seasons are alike. Yeah, that's true. That's so true. So tell us real quick. I know we're getting long here, but tell us. So if you were to put hives out to pollinate squash, how many hives do they request per acre?
Well, so we do about 1 to 1.5 hive per acre for squash. Usually for squash is 1.
Okay.
And when we get into these watermelon fields, we do 1.5.
Okay, so it's different per crop.
Correct.
Okay.
And like blueberries, and people do different. All farmers are different. Some people like to bomb it; they don't care to spend the money. A lot of the cherry guys have realized now, and like I said, some of the farmers, the bell peppers, do not need bees. They're self-pollinating.
Right.
But they realize, again, with having the bees there, we have less calls. We're getting better first. So like a lot of the guys in cherries now up north, they're putting more bees in because it's the cheapest thing they really got. You could do all the fertilizer, you can do all these things, but if you don't have that good set of fruit, well, it's all for nothing.
That's right.
So it's really the cheapest thing they got is to invest in renting bees, because it all starts there. Your pollination of your fruits and vegetables, it all starts there. Anything after that doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So even to have a small hive on the homestead is wonderful. The things that it produces is so much better. Even if you have flowers, look at your flower gardens, how they just blossom. It's so much better.
Yeah. What do you say to somebody who I've just recently started to see this argument, and it kind of bothered me, but I'm starting to see a lot of people on some of these like permaculture pages and like bigger backyard gardening pages where they only want natives in, and they'll attack somebody maybe not attack is maybe too strong of a word, but they'll come down on somebody for saying, save the bees. I'm looking to get honeybees for my garden or whatever. And somebody will say, well, honeybees aren't native here either. And that we shouldn't be tending to them.
Well, I always wanted to get this. You're the first podcast, but I always wanted to go on Joe Rogan's because he had a beekeeper from Texas, the blonde lady, and everybody likes on TikTok or whatever. And everybody wants to downplay each other. And I think in agriculture, we have to come more together and realize, was the squash really here? Was the watermelon here? Was all these things really here? We're all just trying to produce food. We all have a place in this world. And, instead of downplaying each other, is that we should be just saying we're here. It's hard enough to grow crops. It's hard enough to run honeybees. It's hard enough that we should not be tearing down each other.
Right.
But actually saying that we're all sitting here just trying to do something and let's be positive instead of like you said, throwing harsh words and downplaying other people's hobby or their love, their passion. There's enough of that going on in this world. But when you're in agriculture and growing food, it's we have enough struggles.
Right. It's hard enough to navigate life.
Yeah.
Correct. You're trying to do this, the homesteading, you're trying to raise a family, you're trying to, I listened to one of your podcasts that you got your husband working here and everybody's trying to put this together. There's enough going on. And if you can have some, why are you fighting over if a bee is native here or not? It's silly, know?
Right.
That's just, like, what do you want to say? It's wasted energy.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Like, why not just try to be an encourager or just answer the lady's question?
Right.
You know?
Correct.
Right.
There's too much of that. That's why I don't do social media. I don't do anything, I'm not very good with that aspect of, life where it says, why can't we just all help each other? I don't get it.
Right.
So so when someone says that, I just kind of walk the other way and say, why can't we be encouraging instead of hurting someone's opinion? It doesn't. It's like we say here. Some people throw straps over the truck to tie down bees, and some like ratchet straps, and some people do ropes. I don't care. Let's just make sure it's secure.
Right.
You want to throw straps? Let's throw straps. You want to throw ropes? I'll throw ropes. I don't care.
Right. Let's keep the main goal in mind. And if we're talking about growing food here on these pages, then
let's just make sure they get pollinated.
Right. The bees are going to help us grow some food. Right.
Yeah, and then we can share that, we can feed our families, and that we can share with other people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the main goal, and that's really my thought on that whole thing.
Yeah.
Let's keep the main thing the main thing.
Yeah. Well, Charles, are you going to come up to the American Farmstead Convention, or is that just Joanne, your sister?
No, I'm coming up, and I'm gonna bring up observation hive.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, well, you heard it first here, y'all. We did too.
We're going to mark a queen too. I'm debating if we should mark or not, because that'd make it too easy. But come up with some kind of prize, so like if the youngsters can find the queen, they can get
maybe honey sticks or something like that. That's cool.
Correct. Make it
that would be cool.
To try to find the queen in the hive, and make it fun, educational.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And that's the whole
to get into bees.
Yeah, and that's the whole point of the convention. We really just wanted to put like a bunch of skills in front of people for people just to see with their own eyes, because like we said earlier, like if you can't like experience it with all your senses and in person, I think that when people see these things, they're going to go, oh, wow, that's really not that difficult. Or I can do that. Yeah. That doesn't look that hard.
Correct.
So that's
I got
that's
inspired
the point.
Because you have somebody that you were doing with moringa, and I was growing moringa, and I appreciate that because it make teas. It's so healthy for you.
Yeah. Well, he'll be there too.
Yeah. So it's great what y'all are doing is showing people all these things. And moringa is great. Once you get it rooted, it's a pretty hardy tree. And it's like 67% protein, and you can eat the leaves, and it's just so amazing. People
it is amazing, isn't
so
it?
You're putting on something that's so encouraging, and that's why I'm going too.
Oh, awesome! Good. That's great. We'll be so glad to meet you.
Good. So that is for any of our listeners, we have early bird tickets on sale right now. You can still get them at the discounted price. And so the convention is going to be in Green Cove Springs in Northeast Florida on Saturday, May 18th. If you can go to our website, AmericanFarmsteadHers.com, and there is a link on there where you can go and get your tickets.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't miss out. It's going to be so fun.
It is. It's really shaping up to be a great event.
Exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we are so grateful that y'all are going to be out there bringing your beekeeping stuff, and I can't wait to see the hive. But yeah, I think it's just fantastic that y'all are going to be there.
Well, we think it's great you're putting this on for everybody to see. That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, Charles. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us today, too. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Oh, no. I appreciate it. I could talk about bees and agriculture, squash, whatever. I really changed my life. It really did.
Yeah.
Getting away from the city life and growing up in the suburbs, or being born in the city of Chicago, then going out suburbs, and you didn't know anything. You just went to Jewel Osco, got your vegetables and food, and you didn't really think much about life. But the agriculture really, and growing your own food, really helps settle you, ground you. It grounds you as a human being, I believe. At least it did for me. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
And that's why I try to encourage people. It really grounded me into a connection more with one of this planet, this universe that we're in, nature.
Seeing
and
something more
really
than yourself.
My heart.
Yeah.
It fulfills your heart more.
I couldn't have said it better. That is an amazing way to end our show today. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me. That's great.
Yeah, and we can't wait to see y'all in May.
Yes, it'll be great. Can't wait.
All right, thank you, Charles. It's good to talk to you.
Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.